Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be talking about the Pocket Sniper Rifle. That's right, the Mare's Leg, which came out in the spring patch. And this is an interesting sidearm because it actually gives you a sniping option as your secondary. Or at least it used to back in CTE before they took away your sniping scopes. Now, I'll be getting into why this gun got nerfed and why I'm not really enjoying it anymore. But stat-wise, if you want to check it out, it's basically a 44 Magnum, but shittier. And I'll show you what I mean. Popping up the Simthic stats here with the Mare's Leg and the 44 Magnum side by side, you can see that they both do 56 damage maximum. The Mare's Leg has a little bit further drop-off start, but its drop-off actually ends before the 44 Magnum's does at 45 meters, where the 44 Magnum can reach all the way out to 50 before it hits its min damage. The Mare's Leg has slightly faster muzzle velocity of 520 meters per second versus the Magnum's 460 meters per second. Not a huge difference overall. They have the exact same magazine capacity. The difference though is that the Magnum gets a standard 4-second reload no matter how many shots you're replacing, but it can replace all 6 shots at once, whereas the Mare's Leg reloads each shot individually like a pump action shotgun, and it takes 0.77 seconds between each shot reload. The downside to this reload process is that you can't really interrupt it between each shell to take an accurate shot. You can hip fire the weapon, but that's pretty much the last thing you want to do with the Mare's Leg. And why is that? Well, the Mare's Leg is pretty much completely reliant on getting a headshot, one-shot kill, otherwise you're dead. The rate of fire on this gun is 66 rounds per minute. That is less than half the rate of fire of the 44 Magnum. You cannot chain shots back to back with this gun. You literally have to activate the lever action in between each shot you take. Other than that, the Mare's Leg has slightly less recoil than the Magnum, which really doesn't matter since it's about a second in between shots. It doesn't matter if the recoil is absolutely insane. You have plenty of time to reset between taking your next shot. The only other difference is that the Mare's Leg has considerably worse hipfire accuracy than the Magnum, so you have even less options in CQB combat. So again, putting these stats side by side, looking at them, there's literally nothing that the Mare's Leg has going for it versus the Magnum, other than it can equip some scopes that the Magnum can't. And it could actually equip a lot more scopes back in CTE. For some reason, they took away some of the best options it had for the final release. I'm not sure why they did this, because it basically made the one thing I liked about the Mare's Leg useless. So let's talk about that for a second. If you go back and watch my CTE video showing off this gun in its white box model, I was running a 6x scope and an 8x scope on this weapon and nailing headshots at longer range engagements on like Conquest large style maps. And it was actually pretty fun to have that as a sidearm. You could run shotgun primary, use this as sort of your secondary for nailing headshots at those longer range engagements, and it was just a fun little combination to run with. For some reason, they've taken away all your long range scopes except for one, the 40x scope, which is just a joke of a scope. It's not useless with this weapon. You're never going to even one-shot kill somebody at the ranges that scope is useful, because your drop-off goes down to 37.5 damage, so it's not even a one-shot headshot at that range. A 6x scope and an 8x scope was absolutely perfect for this weapon, and it allowed it to be effective at the range at which it could either one-shot headshot or almost one-shot headshot your opponent, and that was fun to run with. But now I'm stuck with 4x and 3.4x scope options, which basically gives me no other options that the 44 Magnum didn't already have. The 44 Magnum has the 3x scope. If I want to snipe with the Magnum, I can do that with its own scope. So now the Mare's Leg literally offers me nothing new. It's just like running a 44 Magnum, but with worse reload, a crappier, way crappier rate of fire, and worse hipfire accuracy. There's literally nothing that this gun has going for it. It did in CTE because of the 6 and 8x scope that made it worthwhile, but even so, right now the damage drop off with this gun is not particularly impressive. I mean, when you add a longer barrel to a gun, for the most part, it should increase the muzzle velocity, and in this game that should increase its ranged effectiveness. For some reason, this gun does even less damage at further ranges than the 44 Magnum. Doesn't make any sense at all considering it's shooting the same type of round, but this gun has a longer barrel, so in theory the bullet should be going further. It should be slightly more effective at range. Now there is another thing they could do to this weapon to try and balance it out and make it more effective and frankly more realistic. It's something that I've been trying to get the developers to do for pump action shotguns for a while, and that is making it so that when you aim down sight mid-reload process, it cancels your reload. So whenever you're loading in shell after shell after shell, if you hit that aim down sight button, should cancel your reload and aim the weapon down sights, just like you would be able to in real life. Because you can't cancel the reload with an aiming down sight shot on the Mare's leg, the reload process is really a lot worse than the 44 Magnum. It takes a lot longer to reload all of your shots on this weapon than it does with the 44 Magnum, so you're basically in a worse situation. You can, however, reload individual shots, so you can get a shorter reload on 3 rounds, whereas the 44 Magnum takes the same amount of time to reload 3 bullets as it does all 6 bullets, but it's still not enough to warrant the current reload process. Now, I apologize if this video sounds overly negative. It's mostly that way because I was actually excited about this gun in CTE, and then they took away the scopes, which was the only thing that made it worthwhile using. Now it's really just an aesthetic choice to use this gun, and as much as I do love the look of the lever action Mare's leg, there's just no point in using it right now. If you like getting those headshots at further ranges and downing somebody with a 1 shot from your sidearm, then use the 44 Magnum. There's literally no reason to use the Mare's leg as of right now. Oh yeah, did I mention the zeroing on this rifle seems to be off. If you aim at the top of somebody's head at around 40 meters or even closer, that bullet will go whizzing over their head. It looks like the weapon's zeroed in at around 100 meters or so. I talked to Matimio about this issue and he was having the exact same problem. So it seems like the gun's not even zeroed properly, which if you're a marksman of any kind in Battlefield 4 and you've gotten used to bullet drop, you know exactly where to aim to get a headshot, and the fact that this is sending bullets over your opponent's head is just the worst thing that you could ask for in any sort of weapon. So Dice, I hate to say it, but you have to take this gun back to the gun bench. You need to fix the aim on it. You have to increase the damage drop off. There should be a longer range at which I can get a 1-shot headshot kill. I need my 6 times and my 8 times scope options available for this weapon, probably even the 7 times scope as well. Something that can give me those accurate shots at further ranges. You should be able to interrupt the reload animation on this by aiming down sights. That piece of code should also apply to shotguns as well. And while you're at it, the iron sights could also use a bit of an update. You don't start off with any sort of scope with this rifle, so you're going to need something that can actually hit headshots accurately, since it's the only way to get a kill with this rifle, and the iron sights just suck. It's very hard to be precise with them, and it would be kind of cool to use this gun in its stock form, but you just really can't. You have to put a scope on here to get any sort of precision out of it. So anyway, that's my list of things to change on this weapon to make it usable. Not even close to overpowered, just usable. Hopefully we'll see some changes on this gun in the next patch. That pretty much wraps it up for my review of the Mare's leg. Not worth using for any reason other than aesthetics. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing out.